What's up, y'all? It's your boy. I don't know why I'm giggling today. The one and only A Switch, aka why my areolas won't turn off. No, let me try that again. AKA AKA why my areolas so loud. Let me stop. AKA the undisputed, uncontested, undefeated social distancing champion. AKA the undisputed, uncontested, undefeated cuddling champion. 10 times. The teddy bear, AKA the Komake Tiger Dropper. Bringing you yet another episode of Switches Sites, episode 129. 129. Today's date is November 11th. Wait a minute. November 11th. In my head, I was like, November is not the number of the, you know what I mean. Either way, November 11th. Fuck, I did it again. November 11th, 2021. Or in other words, 11/11/21. It's a lot of interesting anniversaries. First and foremost, before I start that, for those that don't know, Switches Sites podcast is a solo video game podcast where I talk about just that. Yeah. So, back to what I was getting at. November 11th is a special date. And at least this go round this year is a lot of anniversaries. First and foremost, the most probably prolific iconic anniversary is excuse me. That's the anniversary. That burp. It was a long time. Let me stop. Is Skyrim, Elder Scrolls Skyrim, 10-year anniversary. It did come out on the iconic release date of 11/11/11, which is pretty fitting for that game because that game was damn near perfect, damn near perfect. So I think to celebrate the 10-year anniversary, I think a new edition is coming out this today. I think for consoles, I think if you have the game on Steam, not sure about other platforms, I assume they maybe follow the same suit, that I think you get a free upgrade as well, I want to say. Could be wrong. You might have to maybe pay a small fee or something like that to upgrade it. But I believe it's free for PC. But yeah, man. Skyrim, legendary game, just gotta give it its flowers, 10. It can, I don't know. It's probably, it's weird. Skyrim is playing Pokemon right now. Also, what else? Oh yeah, the PlayStation 5 and the Series X, Xbox X, are all, turning, or have turned one by now as well. Been a pretty fun year with them, getting acclimated to the certain, new features and whatnot. We finally got external storage, external NVMe storage for PS5. Series X already has its proprietary thing and whatnot. So all in all, I say personally having both, thoroughly enjoying them. I haven't really encountered any major issues personally. Just an occasional freeze here, weird, crash there, but nothing like frequent enough where like, okay, something's wrong. So all in all, congratulate. I wanted to do the Tyrese meme, but it's not necessarily applicable in this scenario. But yeah, man, you love to see it. Wonderful year for them. Some pretty interesting titles, at least more importantly, like a lot of really dope upgrades and updates and director's cuts. So overall, personally, it was a pretty satisfying year, if I would say so myself. Here's to next year, which is, man, next year feels like it's about to be crazy as hell in that regard. So Halo 2 like turned 17, I think, recently as well. One of my favorite games of all time. Like I was saying on Twitter, Halo can drive and is about to graduate. Which is crazy. Just an iconic game. But nonetheless, at least those are the most notable, or at least anniversaries that come to mind. I know there's more than likely many more. So yeah, in terms of the show, potentially maybe shorter one, may not have too much to discuss, but you know what, it's funny, I always say that and we always end up going getting to the same time one way or another. So nonetheless, don't let what I just said discredit this episode, because hey, I think it's still a pretty interesting episode all around. You know what I mean? So without further ado, let's stop the dilly dallying and get right into it. Episode. I just wanted to say episode to say episode. The Game Awards. So as I officially announced, I did get an invite to the Game Awards. And I as well will be presenting the award for best beat 'em up. Let me stop. Has there been I don't know if there's actually been necessarily too many beat 'em ups that came out. Either way, at least on that hype train to the Game Awards. In an interview Jeff Keighley had with Epic Games of all people, which is kind of weird because it's Epic. They don't necessarily seem to be the type to be doing interviews, but I guess maybe I'm assuming it's like some, I guess cross promotion thing where, probably after this interview at the Game Awards, they're probably gonna, pimp Fortnite to oblivion to some extent, I'd assume. But either way, some interesting details for the Game Awards, at least that Jeff decided to disclose. So at least in terms of the show itself, just some highlights. This is by Nebellion, who did a nice little recap of everything. A lot of content for 2022 and 2023. The biggest lineup yet. So, interesting. 40 to 50 games to be featured in some capacity. New game announcements in the double digits. So, that's interesting. Orchestra on stage. I can't wait for the rendition of GTA3. We Love Ladies on Game FM. What else? The whole No More Heroes 3 soundtrack. Full rendition. Forget about any other game. Streets of Rage 4. Just play all that and loop it the whole show. Teases for quote unquote true next gen stuff. So at least, hey, PlayStation 5. Xbox sex is not it's not as a full stride yet. It's not even it's not done yet. I mean, it's been a year, but you know what I mean. So you have that. All in all, man, this Game Awards looking seem pretty good. Seem pretty good. I mean, I guess there might be some bias. There might be some bias. I'm not even gonna lie. As always been a fan and supporter of the Game Awards, but yeah. I mean, at least when you think about the previous games awards, there's been a lot of pretty astronomical announcements. Freaking Sephiroth was announced at the Game Awards. Joker for Persona 5 for Smash at the Game Awards. I think we saw Elden Ring for the first time at the Game Awards. Was PT? No, I don't think PT was revealed. Death Stranding was. Or was it? Oh, it's all becoming a blur. Safe to say, my point is, don't underestimate the Game Awards. It's been picking up steam each subsequent year for a lot of pretty crazy announcements. I forgot they announced the freaking Xbox Series X, the next generation of Xbox, at the Game Awards. Yeah, I remember that. That was fucking crazy. I was like, what is this? And then it's like, oh yeah, this is the Xbox Series X. I was like, oh shit. So yeah, do not underestimate the Game Awards. You set yourself, I guess maybe potentially for yeah, when you put it that way, set yourself up for a surprise if you keep them expectations tempered. But I guess technically that's a safe way to go. Either way, I think he also did say that nominees will be announced next week as well. So I'm assuming shortly after that, then people will be able to start voting. Well, I assume their secret committee starts voting for the all the other categories, and then of course you got the viewers' choice and stuff like that too. So very, very, very interested to see what the nominees will be this year. It's funny, you always have your own idea and concept in your head about what should be game of the year, what's in the running, but then it's only your bubble compared to a lot of various others, and what is the general consensus, all that stuff. We'll say we'll be a little hurt. No More Heroes 3. If No More Heroes 3, Cruise and Blast, Streets of Rage 4 Nightmare DLC is not getting any form of love at all. Resident Evil 4 VR, it's gonna be rigged. Let me stop. Moving on. The Valve Steam Deck has been delayed by 2 months. This came out yesterday from Valve themselves regarding it. I guess we'll read, and I'll also put my time code. Just say what. The launch of the Steam Deck will be delayed by 2 months. We're sorry about this. I don't know why I know they're serious, but it's funny reading it. We did our best to work around the global supply chain issues, but due to material shortages, components aren't reaching our manufacturing facilities in time for us to meet our initial launch dates. Based on our updated build estimates, Steam Deck will start shipping to customers February 2022. This will be the new start date of the reservation queue. All reservation holders keep their place in line, but date shift back accordingly. Reservation date estimates will be updated shortly after this announcement. Again, we're sorry we won't be able to make our original ship date. We'll continue working to improve reservation dates based on the new timeline, and we'll keep folks updated as we go. So, personally, totally fine with it. I mean, yeah. I mean, to be honest, I just want a Steam Deck just to have it. But I mean, especially just the idea of being able to play all my existing Steam games library on the go is definitely compelling. Like, well, a lot of the RPGs I got, especially Persona 4, which I plan to play at some point, feels like a perfect game to start playing and test out the Steam Deck with. I believe if it has the Steam Cloud support, which I assume it does. I think a lot of even older games releasing at this date do typically have it. And then there's much more nerdier ways to get the same results as well. So all in all, not a big hit for me. I think my position in the queue was like, I think it was first quarter of 2022. So I guess technically, I don't know. That seemed kind of vague, but at least I'm guessing now I'm pushed back to the second quarter of 2022. So I'm guessing maybe April, May-ish or something like that. But personally, not a big deal to me. I guess I'm more curious to see like people actually be out in the field and people actually playing with it, and I still have the option where it's like, oh, this is totally atrocious and not worth it. I'm like, oh, okay, well, let me cancel that. So I love options. You should love them too. Like a quarterback or something. I don't know. I never. I was gonna say I don't know. I never played the sport, but I did it some capacity. So well, moving on. Well, and well, I don't even know how to just freaking just is it jealousy? I don't know if it will be jealousy, kind of. In how do I word it? In games I wish I played, if they were a game I want to play, if they change certain things, but they keep adding all these cool, characters and crossovers and stuff. News. So, yeah, in terms of Fortnite, is crossing over with Naruto Shippuden. I sound like somebody who's never watched it, which I have not. Naruto Shippuden. Oh man. Fortnite is crossing over with Naruto Shippuden. Oh man, like I'm a teacher. Like I'm a substitute teacher announcing kids' name. Naruto Shippuden. I'm getting tired of it. I'm sorry. Yeah, so Naruto Shippuden. Believe it. I guess that's the phrase. It's weird. I know that phrase from other games that reference that game, that this Naruto. So yeah, so believe it. It's coming November 16th, 2021. So I'm curious if they actually even, it feels like they've been very coy about what the skins look like. Let me look them up actually. I hope well, I mean, considering the history of these skins, They generally look pretty weird. I think there's supposedly some leaked skins. Hopefully this isn't a clickbait video. It's gonna get a downvote immediately. You can't even really see them. Oh, they do? Well, I guess they technically might look just exactly like it. I think they did that with Rick and Morty when he was included in Fortnite. So maybe that is what it is. Excuse me. Or bless me, I don't know. So you get man, this is gonna be fun. Damn it. Okay, so you got Naruto, you got Kakashi, you got Sakura, and you got Sasuke skins all coming to Fortnite. So yeah. Shonen Jump fans, yeah. It is your time to shine right now. It is your time to play Fortnite. Play it now. Because it's Naruto. Ninjas. Believe it. I sound like somebody who does not know Naruto, which is exactly the case. But I thought this was interesting either way. It's just mad. It's annoying because I guess part of me like wants to play it because I guess I've talked about it before, but my frustration with Fortnite is that I would play it if it didn't have the damn building mechanic in it. But otherwise, yeah, I'm gonna stay away. Unless I've said it already. We get a Yakuza crossover, like fuck. Alright, I guess I gotta do it then. That is my only stipulation. But yeah, hey, Naruto fans, which I feel like there's a crossover with Fortnite. I feel like a lot of anime fans do play Fortnite. Maybe I'm wrong about that. This is purely conjecture, an assumption, but I assume that this is a pretty wise crossover in general. Maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, it wouldn't happen if it wasn't. So we'll see, you know. But believe it. I love saying that without even really knowing necessarily the context. I think rough memory, I kind of get the idea and concept, but one of these days when I have like a year and a half to just burn, I guess maybe if I'm just at that point where like I have nothing to do, don't want to do anything, but I just got this urge. Anyway, keeping that keeping that shonen jump train going. Chi. Oh, that auto tune was hitting that time. Of course, another game that Naruto is included in. Jump Force is being delisted from the digital game stores in North America on February 7th, 2022. This is from Bandai Namco's Twitter. Our sincere thanks goes out to all the Jump Force players and fans for their support. But with all good things, they must come to an end. Believe it. I'm sorry. That was me. I'm sorry. Jump Force's availability through digital purchase in Americas will end February 7th, 2022 at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So, but the sad news does not stop there. In addition to that, online servers will go down on August 24th, 2022, but all single player functions will be playable locally. Thank you all once again for your support. We look forward to seeing you enjoy our other games. I feel like that's kind of like low key shade where we look forward to seeing you enjoy our other games. I feel like there's some low key, just like, I don't know, resentment. Like, yeah, maybe this game would still be running if you guys actually fucking supported it. I don't know. Yeah. So, pour one out for the Jump Force fans. What, probably like the two of you, 3, 4, 6, 6 of you. There's probably, I'm very curious now. There's probably what, 6 people playing an online match right now. I really want to. I'm very curious to see if that's actually the case. Well, there are other games that isn't Jump Force. I'm sorry. It's, at least from what I saw, it did not look very good. But of course, as somebody who's not a huge anime fan, I do like a fair amount of the IPs I've watched that I believe are shonen. Please excuse my lack of knowledge in the anime realm. Anime fans, please don't kill me. I know that's what a lot of you resort to. I mean no harm. I'm just speaking what's there. I'm just trying to help. I'm just trying to help. So, hey man, it'll be okay. It'll be okay, guys. You got, what is it, the J Stars one? That was a pretty decent one. I was playing with friends back in the day. Then there's all the exclusive ones, like the My Hero ones and the Naruto exclusive ones and all the other, Dragon Ball ones and stuff too. So I mean, it's not all bad, It's not all. If it's on sale, I might bite just out of pity. That did not mean how I came off, but you know what I mean. Just out of just sadness that nobody supported it. But I mean it kind of put it kind of put it upon itself, really. But I digress. Just pour one out for Joe Force. Enjoy the times while they're here. All 3 of you. With that being said, that unfortunate news, that concludes the news for this week. So, let's get into what I've been playing, which has been RE4 VR. Finished it last weekend. Man, I'm trying not to retread what I said before, but yeah, man, really good. Where do I start? So yeah, literally played like all the other iconic moments at the island, which is the last, I guess, act of the game. Unfortunately, I have to sadly report, the Krauser fight was in cutscene form. You couldn't do it in VR. That would have been pretty fucking dope if done right. But there was a lot of potential for that to go wrong, which I understand either way. So, Krauser fight was in its normal form. The It battle, that was fucking crazy in VR, to be honest. That was pretty surreal. They of course made some understandable changes, not anything drastic, but like, what did they change? Like when you shoot all the buttons to drop the thing, the hatch, you know what I mean, whenever you get to that point, but you pull it instead of, I think, interact with it. It was something I felt that was, maybe it wasn't drastically different. Maybe I'm misremembering. Actually, never mind. I think what's throwing my whole mental off is I guess just it being in a different perspective for some reason. But all in all, it was pretty great, pretty damn great, I have to say. Um, yeah, then got to the final segment, which was again pretty damn, typical. I did run out of bullets though in terms of my sniper, which in the one segment towards the end where you do need that, but that's understandable. I mean, everything else was pretty much, in VR. Nothing necessarily else drastic outside of that, but yeah, the one notable part is the jet ski, which is, you do that in VR, which is pretty dope. But after all that, there is a different ending credit scene. And then I tried going back and seeing how they treat New Game Plus a little bit. I wasn't gonna play the whole thing, but it's cool. They do let you skip the intro cutscene and just let you go right back into the game, which is pretty dope. What else? Oh yeah, I tried playing with the new well, not the new, but try playing with the more strict controls in terms of the movement options, where basically you move like a tank but in VR. And man, that was horrible. It was a horrible experience. Like within the 10 seconds of me trying, I was like, you know what? Ugh, no, this is not. No, I'm not liking this. Yeah, let's not. So I did it. Basically, it's at least playing through the whole game in the strafing and more free movement option. Yeah, playing in tank after that is horrible. It feels unnecessarily restrictive considering the VR perspective. I think obviously it's much more easier in third person, but yeah, do not recommend it. Even, with that. One thing that is dope though, I did turn the red dot off. So now you technically have to shoot each weapon using your manual aim, like I guess technically in real life. And man, it is pretty dope. It is, because it's in VR, it's pretty cool that you can actually, like you would in real life when you're trying to aim, you can literally look down the iron sights of the gun and, shoot that way, and it's accurate. It's like dead on accurate, which is, I don't know why that surprised me, but it did. It's just how crazy accurate it is. And, you getting a feel for what it, like where you're aiming at, and it actually kind of being justified and being accurate and paying off, I think was pretty dope and fulfilling, at least for the little bouts I played. Just exploring it. I guess a couple of questions I did have, which I still need to do more research on my end about, but because I think I brought this up before, but there isn't any of the end game stuff after you beat it, like the mercenaries mode, assignment Ada, separate ways, and I think those were it. I believe I may be missing one, but either way, those are all missing. But with those, there were a lot of those extra weapons tied to it as well, like of course, infamous hand cannon, the Chicago typewriter, and then the additional costumes like the Leon 1950s costume and Ashley's medieval invincible costume. So I'm curious. I'm assuming that after you beat it on professional, which you unlock after you beat it on normal or easy, I think, that after you beat it on professional, you'll then get all those unlocked after. But I was like, yeah, that's probably not gonna happen soon. I'll definitely replan it at some point. Don't get me wrong, but at least I got so many other games to get to. But all in all, man, this is the best transition, and maybe an indication of just how transcendent Resident Evil 4's greatness is in terms of a game as a whole, even with like some of the cut stuff, which is admittedly pretty minimal. Just how damn just good that game is, and playing it in VR is just was great, man. It was a wonderful experience, man. It was so good. It is definitely. I've said it before. I'll say it again. It's definitely the killer app for VR. I've not played Half-Life Alyx yet though, but I think it's definitely the killer app for VR, or at least specifically for the Oculus Quest 2, for sure, hands down. Or what is it called now? I guess it's technically now the Meta Quest 2, which is so stupid. Why would you just have Meta as the main company and then have, Oculus and whatever as the sub company? But I digress. Dabbled in a little bit of what is it? What's it called again? VR chat. Nothing notable. Same old, same old. But also hopped back into a little bit of Lost Judgment. Played a little bit before GTA 3 came out. Yeah, I actually it's been a minute since I played. I put it down to play some other stuff, and I think finish RE4 VR and then some other games I'll mention. But I messed with the Neo DLC they added, which is called the School Time Stories DLC, I think, where it adds a ton of extra content to all the school stories, and at least probably the most prolific, I'd say, of all that is they actually added the boxing mode or fighting style that's in one of the mini games to be a fighting style in the game that you can use during combat now, which is pretty dope. So yeah, at least playing with it a little bit, it's pretty dope. It kind of reminds me of Kiryu's Rush style, I think, in Yakuza games, but of course it's much more technical and focused, I guess, is maybe the best way to explain it. But it's pretty dope. I think they give you an option for, I don't know why you would, but you can actually not use that mode and turn it off, I guess, for maybe if you're a purist, I guess. But it's like, why would you not want more fighting options, personally? But I guess I could see the one caveat, which is probably my, the one issue technically with it, like I think I mentioned before, is that you have to switch through allocated set of your styles. You can't like the previous games where you can switch directly to whatever mode you want, which as well gives you more flexibility in terms of doing more creative stuff and combos and things like that. But again, it's I'll take what I could get at this point. Just having 4 fighting styles and one that's boxing specific and has some really dope, interesting moves. Like I think you can if you time your hits right, you can actually counter and I think do like something similar to, of course, the best counter of all time, the Komaki Tiger Drop. But at least it does seem pretty dope from what I messed with. I didn't fully get the full gist of it. I think you have to play the boxing minigame to acquire all the abilities and stats and stuff like that. So, but from when I played, I'm like, hell yes. I heard rumors about it. I didn't want to spoil it because I assume you probably just unlock it after doing getting to a certain point, but it is a DLC. So you when you get the DLC, which I think you have to pay for, I believe, but it's there. Jesus, sorry. So yeah, that judgment is lost. I'm feeling kind of bad because normally I play the hell out of this, but it's been so much more stuff that at least has a very minimal time commitments, like 10 to 15 hours, versus this game, which I know in the long run is going to be like 90 hours to complete, I think, if I do everything. So I've just been accepting that, and I'm like, you know what, let me just play this so I know I'll be able to beat it and it won't take my time, and then I'll get back to this when, there isn't this whole onslaught of games, especially now with the November season, is over, and actually get back to playing Judgment when everything is clear. So, yeah. Then also played Call of Duty Vanguard. I was very on the fence about this game in terms of of course, obviously the controversy with Activision, which I no way, am in support of. But I mean, at the same time, I know there's people there who aren't, included in all that stuff. So it's like that weird area you're in. But at least from what I played, I'm like, it is pretty good. And I was like, you know what, let me give it another chance. And sure enough, did bite the bullet, and no pun intended. But yeah, at least played the campaign first. Of course, that's always my tradition. I'm not the one to just go directly to multiplayer. I like to give single player its fair shake, and then play. I like playing multiplayer as a reward. For me personally, but I thought the campaign was pretty good for this. It has this weird format, which at least at first it seemed a bit, what's the word? It seemed a bit, I guess, contrived, where it's like, it just felt like we're just doing it just to do it. But yeah, it still kind of felt like that ultimately, I believe. The format was like, there's this main plot where you gotta take out the sub leader of Hitler, and Hitler was killed, and this is in the World War II kind of period era setting. Yeah, that's generally the plot. Like, we gotta take this guy out, blah blah blah. But then we gotta take this guy out. Oh, you don't know about Polina here? She was a Russian guard. Okay, here's Polina's story, and it just felt like a lot of that for me. I don't know. It felt like it felt a bit disjointed. I guess I'm not a fan of that plot technique. I don't know. I feel like it worked as a disadvantage towards this for this type of game, I'll say. But I will say Polina as a character, she was pretty cool. She's played by the iconic voice actor. She's like literally almost in everything I could think of at this point. I forgot her name. What is her name? She was, of course, Abby in The Last of Us, which, people have some feelings about. What is her name? Laura Bailey. There we go. Laura Bailey. So she was cool. I thought it was she was probably the most interesting of everybody. And then you had I guess it's the indication of my enjoyment of the game. It's like they felt forgettable. I can't even name you the characters. It was kind of a blur. I played it like in one sitting essentially. But I did like they definitely touched on race, which was surprising. Was not expecting that. They calling people Negroes and stuff, like, oh, all right, okay, well, all right. And they did have like I think it's been referenced in history a lot, but like a platoon of like straight up black soldiers that at least the impression I got is like, they intentionally, with the expectation they're gonna get killed or whatever, or had not as admirable, I guess, conditions to kind of fight war in and whatnot. So yeah, I found that interesting. Of course, as somebody of color, I was definitely interested in that. But I think they handled it pretty well. They didn't, I don't know, I feel like, of course, like I hate to say it, but typical Call of Duty audience that's generally negative and, I mean, racist, or maybe racist for fun, racist for whatever, but I mean, it's still racist in my opinion. But, they like to just say it for shock value and things like that. But yeah, it feel like this was fuel for them. And I guess that makes sense because in the multiplayer, it's different now than like all the other previous Call of Duties where all of the factions are unified. So each team could be any of the operators to play as, and it kind of is distracting in some cases. You got to get used to it or acclimated to it, where you're dead set on like, okay, these people are always on this side and these people are always on this side, but all the teams, anybody could be on each side. So that definitely took some adjustment, but I assume, in terms of the campaign, I think it's understandable that like, they strayed away from having a Nazi faction with, Nazi operators and, everybody playing them. And of course, you got everybody being Nazi operators just to trigger, everybody else and, just saying the N word to oblivion and all that stuff. Excuse me, with the hard R, you know what I mean? So. Yeah. So I understand that. But all in all, at least after the campaign was completed, I thought it was pretty decent. It was like, I guess mediocre, maybe slightly above mediocre. It was like fine. Wasn't anything like, oh, this is crazy. And then, it's kind of as well, kind of what you expect from a Call of Duty campaign. Michael Bay-esque, over the top moments that are like totally unrealistic, but of spectacle and value. That, don't get me wrong, they were fun and interesting, but of course they had some other interesting segments, especially like I mentioned before, Polina's segment where she gets this guy to distract the people with his knife to like point out snipers and stuff like that, and sneaking moments to slow some things down a little bit as well. So yeah, all in all, it was decent. Nothing like to write home about, but it was decent. I enjoyed the time I played with it, so. But the multiplayer though, that's a whole nother story. Mind you, as somebody who's not the biggest fan of World War II games, something about this Vanguard just was really good. And I tried World War II, didn't really stick with it. But something about this game, man, I think it's just that Modern Warfare engine that's just like captivating and just kept me reeled in. And then on top of that, like, I was getting some ridiculous kill streaks and stuff on that too, getting me a fair amount of attack dogs and bomb strafing runs and things like that may more than likely have kept my engagement. But either way, I mean, I definitely like this more than Cold War, where it felt like the online was off for some strange reason. Now that could be attributed to like my network setup or something else, but like Modern Warfare 2019 was fine. It just felt like Cold War was off for some reason. I can't put my finger on it, but it just felt off. But Vanguard felt right. And then, I mean, this is maybe more than likely historically inaccurate, but a lot of the older weapons now have red dot sights and stuff, where it does feel a bit more modern, at least for me, aesthetically pleasing than the kind of very barbaric feeling like iron sights and stuff like that from the older games. So yeah, I don't know, just like the guns felt good. At least a lot of the guns were good, and that's a whole nother thing too. The gunsmith system is back in this game, and like it's even way more like intricate than before, where it's like it's 10 attachments now compared to like the 5 you were restricted to in like all the previous games since 2019. And then there's a lot of new kind of they're technically perks, but they're attached to the gun specifically. It feels like, but that also adds more variance to everything, and makes it interesting. And the maps too are pretty dope. I actually liked a lot of the maps. I can't even I can't tell you what the maps are. I think that just comes with time and memory. But I think there's one called Castle. I think one called Dome or Don Deer Toten something. Clearly I don't know the maps by name, but I know them by heart. I know them by heart though. Don't get it twisted. Yeah, man, it's pretty good. I hear people have issues with the MVP thing. That's a new mechanic they added to new mechanic they added to the end game after you complete the a match, where they have the play of the game, of course, but then they have a MVP where I guess your team chooses the MVP based on like random stats. It feels like most some of these were really weird, like most time near an enemy, most time near your teammates. Okay. It just feels like those shouldn't be included, because like of course those are likely not gonna get voted. But anyway, you have those, and of course you have most kills, highest KD ratio, most headshots, for objective games, most captures, most defends, and stuff like that. So it was a fair amount of BS stuff in terms of like, oh, y'all just doing that just a joke, or somebody just pleading in the chat, hey man, come on, let me get MVP, man, let me get MVP. But I guess the kicker though is that you can actually even out the votes. So of the 3 people they have, you can just give each person one and leave it at that, and then everybody gets MVP. But this Call of Duty, people ain't gonna do that. It was a decent amount of people that did that occasionally, but majority of the time they always go to the more deserving ones, in my opinion, like highest KD, most kills, most kill streaks. That was one too. So it just all depends. And then get used to them damn animations, because you're gonna see them like all the damn time. Where basically it's always somebody fighting with the gun with some random soldier. They just get in the gun. I'm serious, and then that's it. And then you see that 3 times in a row. So I understand people, like I hear people just are quitting out of that when that happens, and you do get credit for the game still if you leave out at that moment. So hopefully they patch that to be, I don't know. I think that's fine, but just the wait time to vote, I think is longer than needed. I think it's like 10 seconds, but if they just cut it down to 5, I think that's fair. So, yeah, I don't know. I mainly just played the standard multiplayer. That's my go-to, my bread and butter. If you for lack of a better term, tried Champion Hill a little bit, but I'm like, that's really not my mode. It felt a little bit too battle royale-y. So I'm like, I'm all right. I'm okay. And then the network connection was horrible for some reason. I'm like, I'll stick to the traditional mode. That is one thing too, though. With this one, they do have a cool system where you can choose the pacing of the games, which is, I guess, another layer of it now, where you can have it be tactical, which is like the standard, I guess, Call of Duty experience, where it's 6v6. I think it's Blitz, which is like 12v12. And I think there's like something else. I think it's called something like Chaos or something. I forgot the exact name, but it's like 30v30 or something like that, where it's up there at least in terms of numbers, but it's like chaos match after like you spawn and you might get killed type of, shipment type of things, which I think is a map they're actually adding to the game, but I think it's coming at a later date. So that was pretty cool. I left it just at all, just to kind of mix it up, and I actually liked it. I liked the just to change of pace for each different, game. It felt kind of like a different vibe, but all in all, I love the map kind of feel and vibe either way as well. So I did also hit my prestige as well, and yeah, after everything's said and done, yeah, I'm just like I'm really enjoying it. Like I said, I enjoyed it way more than Cold War. I potentially like if there is time where I'm like, you know what, I feel like playing some multiplayer, I might hop back on the Vanguard. I know there's a couple bugs in terms of like the progression, in terms of earning streaks or doing certain challenges and stuff, but outside of that, really enjoying it. Really enjoying it. Probably wait until the next season comes out, or the new season where they officially integrate it with the Call of Duty ecosystem or whatever, and then take it from there, I guess, because I think they're gonna do the new Pacific map, which is gonna be a whole new map for Warzone, and Verdansk will now officially say goodbye. So yeah, might pay my final respects to the mode. I played a decent amount. It's probably the most battle royale I played for in a game for sure. So pay my respects, and maybe dabble in the Pacific map when that comes out. I think December-ish something. I think if you own Vanguard, you get to play it a day early than the general public outside of that. But all in all, I am very impressed. It's just that gunplay is feeling tight. This is probably the first World War II game I like legit can like consistently play. I feel like, yeah, I'm surprised. I am surprised, but Vanguard, who would have knew? Who would have thunk? Shouts out to Salim. That's Bay. We we going together, but she don't know it yet. So, you know, she's my fiance, but she's my fiance, but don't tell her that. That's it's horrible. Well, she's not real. Maybe I mean she's modeled after somebody, so take that for what you will. Yeah. Outside of that, I personally, if you're into the multiplayer and you really like Modern Warfare in 2019, I think you'll like Vanguard. That's at least how I felt, because like, damn, this gunplay feels good. It gave me heavy 2019 Modern Warfare vibes. So yeah. Then pretty recently played GTA 3 Definitive Edition. Boom. That's my rendition of the main theme. So yeah, this dropped last night. And man, where do I start? So pretty much this is GTA 3 from the PS2 era, which technically I think came out on the PS4 backwards compatibility. You could play it that way, where it's essentially the same game, but just basically ported with no like upgrades to for PS4. But with this remastered edition, they pretty much did a pretty nice coat of paint over the existing game. It feels like just I don't know how to say it, like a new coat of paint over the existing game, a whole new layover kind of thing. But it looks good. Personally, I like it. Everything looks better, of course. Everything is legible now, compared to like the consoles where, looking at signs and stuff is very hard to read, but now they're like upscaled and revised and all that stuff. 60 FPS, I think for PS4, PS5 and PS4, no, PS5 and Xbox 6. They are 60 FPS. It feels like it hits it most of the time, but I think there's some drops there. But I'm very fascinated to see a Digital Foundry video, seeing a breakdown and comparisons of how they all pan out across the console families. It looks like all the promotional art and just art in general for the game that you see, like in loading screens and stuff, but translated to the game, if that makes sense. Which I think is probably the best choice. I mean, they could have maybe did the whole mile and did like the kind of make them look like GTA 5. Well, rebuild it with the GTA 5 engine or something like that. But I assume they probably wanted to keep the, I don't know, authenticity of the original games, I'm guessing. But so the whole trilogy released. At least I'm just starting in chronological order. I'm replaying 3 and Vice City and San Andreas. So at least this is the first of them. They did revise a lot of the stuff. They added new controls. You have a weapon wheel now, which you didn't have before originally. The controls are pretty similar to GTA 5 in a lot of ways. They added a new aiming system for GTA 3, and I'm assuming the other games as well. And they are, at least for GTA 3, I'm assuming it's probably slightly different for each game, but for GTA 3 at least, it feels very similar to what I remembered playing GTA 3 on PS2, if that makes sense. It just still feels pretty clunky, but at least this is with the new free aim, or what is it called? I think new lock on or new aim or something. I forgot what they called it specifically, but at least with that, you have that option. You can do classic aim, which I haven't tried. And then there's free aim where you can literally just aim freely, which I ended up ultimately doing. I tried knocking down the sensitivity, but it just did not seem to really, it seemed to be more clunky than I wanted it to be. It seems like it, by default, of course, locks on to whoever's closest to you, which is, at least, of course, it felt like is always not who I want to lock on to, at least in a lot of the scenarios I've encountered so far. But yeah, I don't know how to describe it. It's just clunky, I guess. I like free aim way better though. Free aim feels a little bit more flexible, where I can actually aim who I'm trying to aim at, rather than aiming and locking on to the person I don't want to aim at, which I feel is, again, similar to GTA 3 originally. So it seems like pretty much the radio stations are just like I remember. I'm not sure for the other games. I heard there's rumors that they cut some music, but I think that is false, or I think that was debunked. But at least for GTA 3, straight up intact. That Game FM, I'm the king, produced by Alchemist. Oh man, it took me back. The soundtrack took me back. My favorite radio stations is Game FM, MSX, and Chatterbox. It was something quotable I forgot about. They said, what did he say? This random dude gets calling in for on Chatterbox. He's like, guns don't kill people, death kills people. This is the most ignorant and sadly accurate comment in terms of like what somebody of that nature, I'm not going to go into any more details, would say. Which is crazy how much that hits accurately, like what, 10, 20 years ago now is still accurate now, which is kind of sad depending on how you perceive it. But yeah, man, all them hits still hitting. It's funny, of course, I did pay some money for some services, and it is as awkward as it looks, where it's like you if you shift the camera around, which you can do now. I don't think you could do that in the original. I think the camera movement was very limited, but you could see full definition the car's just moving for no reason. They just sitting there just enjoying themselves, just still. But it's like sure, that's fine. I mean, I got my health up, so um oh yeah, that's kind of one a noticeable thing that I guess it's not a big deal, but it's definitely noticeable for me as somebody who like enjoyed messing with it. When I played the original, was it seems like the native, well not native, but the cool, I guess GTA 1 and 2 camera, like from up the sky cam is how it seems like from what I noticed. You can only it seems to be no longer, you are restricted to the new camera modes where you can move the camera full 360 and all that stuff. So yeah, not a big deal, just something that I noticed. What else? Really, that's pretty much it. Yeah, I mean, I'm really enjoying it though. Oh yeah, I forgot to report. The fingers are separated in the game now. They have successfully, I fully confirmed, fingers are separated. They are separated. Good job, Rockstar. Good job. You did it. I don't think they're the actual company that. I think there is some sub company they had do this, but either way, fingers are separated. They seem to still look confined, but they do look separate, which is, I think that's a as good a compromise as any, really. So yeah, outside of that, I played like a good 3 hours. The checkpoint system is also way more lenient now. Where now when you die on a mission, it takes you right back to the start of the mission, which I think before, if you died, I think you would spawn to the hospital and then have to drive all the way back to the location of the mission, and then, start the mission, drive to the location of the, start of the mission, and then that whole thing. But at least now when you die or fail a mission, it gives you an option. Hey, you want to retry again, and you just start at the start of the cutscene, which is totally fair. Which ideally it would be cool if you could just do it right at the start of you, like about to start the mission. But I mean, it's understandable. Maybe gives you flexibility to get like weapons in advance and a different car and all that. So fine by me. And it does have a quick save system in terms of like after you complete a mission, it seems like it saves. So at least now I've been I guess technically reckless now in terms of like, just going mission directly to mission now, rather than like I would generally save after I do a mission and then go to another mission, or I think every 2 missions or something I would do something like that. But at least now I've been just going straight up, no saving. I've been free balling it, free saving it, free risking it, unprotected, going raw, going raw, all in raw. So, but the game feels way more quicker now and paced now with just those minimal kind of upgrades. So it's been working for me though. It feels like, I don't know, the pacing feels way better now considering that. So, yeah, man, I'm impressed. The graphics look good. You got a lot of graphical options, at least specifically I can only attest to PS5. But yeah, you have really intricate graphical options that you can kind of play with. I'm looking forward to that Digital Foundry video to kind of break it down to see maybe some secret utilization that kind of similar to PC actually, where you cut one setting down and get more more I guess efficiency out of whatever other setting and things like that. So yeah, pretty good, man. I'm really enjoying it. Really enjoying it. Taking me back. The I guess one thing too I forgot to mention, the running animation or running where you have to tap the button. It feels off, at least for PS5, at least in the current state. So I ultimately turned that off, and then I guess now I could just hold it and I'll run instead. But yeah, kind of clunky. But I don't know if that could be more to blame on the game or just the. I guess essentially it still would be the game either way. I don't think it's like a controller thing because I know the PS2 has pressure sensitive controls, and I think that was one of the capabilities that was integrated for Grand Theft Auto 3. But at least if that's the case, yeah, it did not translate well because I was furiously, ridiculously tapping hard, and it did not feel as responsive or accurate to what I'm doing. So ultimately just went to hold to sprint, which at least was working better for me in that scenario. So yeah, all in all, sorry, my nose getting stuffed up for some reason. All in all, I'm really enjoying it. Can't wait for Vice City. That's going to be pretty dope. Listening doing drive-bys to want to be starting something. That's what I'm looking forward to. Hopefully if the soundtrack is intact. I think it still is, which is, I think that was one of the biggest questions everybody had coming into this is the soundtrack still intact? Are the songs that I grew up and loved still intact? Which I think is the case. I kind of want to dig into that more, but I just kind of just at this point, I just want to find out for myself. Just play and beat 3 and get on the Vice City, do run people over to Herbie Hancock's rocket, to do some pop some willies to Planettronic Cyberfunk, I think. That's what I'm looking forward to, Yeah. All in all, man, these games, they coming out and they not stopping. But I'm okay with it though. I'm okay with it. And that concludes, pretty sure it does, concludes episode 129 of Switches Sites Podcast. If you did like listening and or watching this podcast, feel free to like, rate, and subscribe on your favorite podcasting and or video platforms. You could catch me on twitch.tv/aswitch, where I broadcast this live on Thursday evenings. You can also catch the archive of this in video form on youtube.com/aswitch. And you can also, of course, catch me on your popular podcasting platforms on Switches Sites. Until next time, y'all, get your game on. Aw, yeah. Nobody's safe.